Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. That is Keith,
And that is Gerry.
and we're here to talk about a little more nerd stuff. We touched base in the previous episode about Ben Affleck leaving Batman, but we watched another video, and this is Film Gob, a gentleman from Scotland, or the United Kingdom as he puts it, and basically it puts a little more gravity to why Affleck left. You want to go over it there, partner?
Well, basically, what he states is that a friend of his sent him some information in response to Ben Affleck's interview in the New York Times that kind of paints the situation with Warner Brothers at that time between 2007, between 2017 and 2018. Mainly having to deal with Geoff Johns and kind of piggybacking off of some of what had been in Ben Affleck's interview, talking about the hard time he was having with his alcoholism and how it was exacerbated by his relationship with his wife, his former wife now, at the time. And the fact that things didn't seem to be going well in working with comic book writer turned Hollywood mover and shaker Geoff Johns. The two of them weren't having a good time.
No, basically Ben Affleck told him to fuck off, and of
Basically.
course Emmerich jumps
Toby
in.
Emmerich, who is the film guy for Warner Brothers.
He's also the architect of the person who got Zack Snyder out to step down, and so basically because they fired Geoff Johns, Warner did, but
well, wait. Let's just slow it a little bit. Yes, he was eventually let go, but this is when Geoff Johns was still working within everything. This is that post time between when uh, when Kevin Sujihara was really the one calling shots because he's Toby Emmerich's boss,
right,
technically,
and they were good buddies,
or was, and Kevin Sujihara and the executives at Warner Brothers during this time was expecting to get the company sold immediately to AT&T, and Toby Emmerich was trying to at least hold some of it together. Again, according to Film Gob's video, it seemed like Toby Emmerich was a big fan, or at least seemed to have a very good working relationship with Ben Affleck at the time. But that things hadn't been going so well. And I think the understanding was the word that came down from Kevin Sujihara was that all of this under Snyder wasn't working, and that Geoff Johns tried to figure out a way of lightening everything up. So that at least puts a face to who was heading everything up during the Justice League reshoots.
Well, this also brings about something else that because as the pressure was mounting on Affleck, we started seeing the pressure coming in from Toby.
No. It wasn't the fact that Toby wasn't putting any pressure, but I think the understanding was from the top, from Kevin Sujihara, that they wanted everything to be a little different. They wanted it to be lighter. This is Warner Brothers as a company,
basically
overreacting.
Emmerich was his gunman. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emmerich had to get it done. But since Emmerich also had more contact with not just Ben Affleck, but really all the talent, he had to find a way of making things happen without destroying or burning bridges. And it seemed like Geoff Johns was more in just trying to get Affleck out any way possible, whether it's just mentally messing with him or just sort of sowing the seeds and playing Hollywood games to try to move Ben Affleck on so that we can get to the Geoff Johns version of Batman.
Because he mentions also that Matt Reeves, even when he was early on brought onto the project, he was just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Ben Affleck's still in it and stuff." But the fact was, I think he was aware of the fact that they were trying to get rid of Ben Affleck.
Yeah, yeah, and it seemed like, um,
And
I think Matt Reeves would have been open
to working with Ben, but Affleck kind of suspected that he wasn't the Batman actor that Matt Reeves wanted, and that also lended some weight to it.
Yeah, but I also think that it has to do with having Geoff Johns in the mix. I mean, Geoff Johns, look, you got to also remember that one of the things that this video from Film Gob forgot to do was to add in all the information that has been released since then about what was going on. And this video does not do a very good job of establishing that Geoff Johns had actually moved up to become the guy or one of the two guys, because it was him and John Berg that were put in charge of guiding the DCEU. And it seemed like from Geoff Johns's view that Warner Brothers was wanting to go lighter. And
I mean, Geoff Johns was the muscle behind Krypton.
Yeah, but I mean that's more about Geoff Johns's, wanting to make an impression and actually having product out there, trying to basically prove his worth.
Right.
Because realistically, he has been he's either one of the most unlucky people or he's just an absolute not cool guy to work with. Because way too many things
sort of like me.
Sideways. I wouldn't say that. There have been way too many projects that have gone sideways because look at it this way. Here's a good example of what I mean. In Hollywood, it is really about credit behind the scenes.
Right.
And Geoff Johns, while he has been attempting to move up, hasn't really gotten a lot of credit. He was one of the people that had set up and had worked on Green Lantern, the movie, along with his good buddy, Greg Berlanti. He was instrumental in the early days in the development of Arrow and The Flash. Now, I don't know how much work he's done on all the other Berlanti CW DC shows, but those two shows supposedly had a lot of Geoff Johns in it, even though Geoff Johns really didn't do next to anything. And when you read a lot of the interviews for both of those shows, especially, during the first 2 to 3 seasons of Arrow and the first season of The Flash, Geoff Johns does a couple of interviews here and there, and then he completely disappears. Okay? Almost like what happened after the Green Lantern movie came out, although in that particular instance, everybody behind the scenes disappeared. Yeah. And because I keep reminding people, you got to understand, Greg Berlanti is the guy that is doing the Green Lantern series for HBO Max. Okay? He's also one of the people that worked on that film's script, along with Geoff Johns and Greg Berlanti's good buddy, who Berlanti left in charge of pretty much all of the DC CW shows. The three of them together have, in my opinion, made a mess of a lot of that stuff. And it's part of the reason why it is uneven. I think Geoff Johns also participated in in at least helping to bring Constantine to television for NBC. Although, as I've said to you many times, that was a mistake because
Yeah, it didn't
Constantine
belong on
never should have been
NBC.
on NBC.
Nope. It needed to be on
Um,
a pay channel.
it definitely needs to be on a pay channel. But let's get back to Ben Affleck because we've wandered a little bit from here. What I was trying to establish is that the Film Gob video was very interesting in putting out this story that there was more going on with Ben Affleck. And I think for me, it just doesn't do a good enough job of setting up exactly where everyone was. Because, again, it makes Geoff Johns out to be a douche. I've never met the man. I do have my own personal preferences. I just think that he's either as far as Geoff Johns is concerned, is either the most unlucky guy in the business, especially Warner Brothers during that time, or there's just something else going on with him.
Well,
But to
I
me, I
suspect
don't.
he's really a fall guy. That because I
Uh, there's too much that has gone on, and there are too many things that have happened. For instance, this perpetual Green Lantern movie that Warner Brothers has been trying to make over the last 2 to 3 years, that has gone through having so many names attached to it, including Tom Cruise and others. Geoff Johns, from what I heard, they were basing it on Geoff Johns' run of Green Lantern. But it seemed like Geoff Johns decided to go ahead and capitulate to a lot of their demands in making changes to the story to the point where uh, he was the one that was working on the story that was making a Green Lantern film more in the mold of Lethal Weapon, which is a big mistake
yeah.
because you shouldn't be making it in the mold of a Lethal Weapon because that's a story just about two people. And given the fan base and given really what Marvel Studios has accomplished by reducing Green Lantern down to just two people, that is just the dumbest mistake one can make. You've got multiple characters in there. It is a universe really within the DC EU unto itself. If all you did was just make Green Lantern your focus, there are so many characters within that. It's kind of like Star Wars in that sense,
Right.
and it's Star Wars mixed with superheroes. If you develop it the right way, it shouldn't just be about two characters. It should be about a multitude of characters. But this is also basing it on the fact that they wanted a Green Lantern movie with Hal Jordan and John Stewart so they can kill Hal Jordan and keep John Stewart, which again is dumb. But and it doesn't do anything with any of the other characters at all.
Well,
Berlanti is obviously, he's developing his own television version. They're still aiming towards doing a Green Lantern movie. So it's a
I'm
lot of
trying to get a
confusion.
I'm trying to take it easy on Berlanti because there's some stuff that he does that I like, and so we're gonna see what he pulls off here. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a big fan of that show, Prodigal Son, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's the
Again,
showrunner.
away from the superhero stuff, I think he's excellent. It's just that it's the DC stuff that I'm just not the biggest fan of because it's a
Exactly.
lot of, in my opinion, fly by the seat of your pants stuff. This whole thing with the Superman, the Superman and Lois TV show that he's doing, they're now having to scramble to make changes. There are certain characters now that are a part of this because they screwed up how they developed the show up to this point.
A
And
show is
part of that
only
is
as good
because
as
of
its
Superman.
foundation. Same thing for a movie, and the same
Yeah,
thing for a house. So let's wrap this up real quick,
yeah,
and we'll do another episode on Mikey Sutton. But
yeah,
basically, in this situation, if you've not seen the video, I'm going to put the link down below for Film Gob, and it's an interesting video. And Keith is right;
yes.
he doesn't really help you understand the foundation of everything, but it's a great video. It's very
It
informative,
is, it is.
and with
But I will
everything,
say
you
this.
have to take it as a grain of salt.
Yeah, it really does make Geoff Johns look bad, because if even half of the stuff
He
that
said
is
is true.
talked about in this video is actually what went down, man, Geoff Johns is a piece of
Yep.
and
Which makes him even
is
more deserving to what Ben Affleck apparently told him to do.
yeah, and it's part of the reason why we don't have Ben Affleck as Batman.
So
So Geoff
there
Johns
you go.
definitely deserves a kick in the pants.
Exactly. So there it is, guys. This is Pop Culture Minefield. That is Keith.
That's Gerry.
And we're out of here. Hey guys, I want to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. First, I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy John over at Entertainment Hacker. Another shout out to Gary Beekler over there at Nerdrotic. Also, a big shout out to Lords of the Long Box. These guys are awesome, and they're always using scoops from Mikey Sutton, who is, of course, somebody that we always go to for new and interesting information when it comes to pop culture. And last but not least, to a critical drinker, a crazy Scotsman who is almost always on the mark when it comes to criticizing nerddom. So that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again.